Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 73 of the Losses Above Replacement podcast. I'm Splash, joined as always with Mac and Alex. How are you guys doing today?
Doing solid. Honestly, yeah, we're doing pretty good over here. We've had some amazing weather over here in the Pacific Northwest here. And so now I'm just about, going through working as I work on a podcast, getting some new stuff made for the podcast. We'll hopefully be able to debut that pretty soon, as well as just getting to enjoy some nice weather. Also, the Mariners are finally playing good baseball, so I feel less and less sad.
Yeah, I feel that for sure. I had a pretty fun weekend myself. I went to, well, first last week I celebrated my birthday, and then I went to the my alma mater's alumni swim meet. That was a lot of fun. So I spent a Saturday afternoon with a bunch of my old friends, which was super cool. Got to meet some of the underclassmen on the team. I'm actually going to the Knicks playoff game tonight, game two of their
Hey.
series. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's sort of my birthday present to myself. And yeah, I'm just I coached my first swim practice today, actually. So that's
Oh, very
sort of
nice.
my side hustle right now is I'm coaching my master's team, which that's the same team I swim for. But I decided, you know what, might as well do this in the meantime. So yeah, I'm doing all right, and yeah, it's finally getting sunny and warm again. Looking forward to it. Hopefully, I really don't want another like mid-May snowstorm.
Yeah, it'd be like that.
To quote the Jim Gaffigan bit here for just a second. What are you doing for coaching? You just pull him to the side and say, "I'll tell you what. Here's what I want you to do this time. I want you to
Exactly.
get there faster."
Exactly.
Coach, trust me on this one.
Man, I had a rough week, rough weekend, but we vibe. We're balling out now. A long day at work last night, but that's neither here nor there. It is time for the fun part of the week, and that is our podcast. And today we're going to
Yeah.
lead it off with some NL East discussions. What a shocker. The NL East as a division is red hot right now. There's a joke going around in both the Phillies circles and Mets circles that when they were winning the last week, that they just couldn't gain any games on the Braves and they couldn't gain any games on each other. Why? Because they're all red hot. The Phillies kept their winning streak going because they are playing the Chicago White Sox. The Braves and Mets did lose yesterday. We're recording this April 22nd, but they had previously won many consecutive games heading into the streak. Atlanta swept Houston. The Mets took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers after sweeping the Pirates and taking 2 out of 3 in the previous few series. So, fellas, give me one takeaway from the red hot National League East, and also the Nationals. Let's hype up the Nationals. They took 2 out of 3 at
They
Chavez
did.
Ravine. They
Yeah.
beat the Dodgers on Jackie Robinson Day at Chavez Ravine. For Mitchell Page, was that his name?
Oh
Mitchell
yeah.
Parker.
Mitchell
Mitchell
Park. Mitchell
Parker
Parker balled
yeah,
out
became
yesterday.
the
Yeah.
first national starting pitcher to win his MLB debut since Steven Strasburg.
Which is that's
Wow.
crazy.
That is
Yeah.
crazy. It's also just crazy to think that right now Steven Strasburg's also done pitching. Like, I
That
feel
yeah.
like it was
It's
not that
yeah.
long ago when he made his debut.
Yeah,
Anyway,
very sad, but I think
it's very sad,
I,
yeah.
I think you'd pay $250 million to win a World Series. I'm just saying, but
I mean, he did win a World
yeah,
Series.
that's what I'm saying.
Oh, gotcha.
That
Fair
like
enough.
the contract, like the Anthony Rendon contract in LA, bad. The Strasburg contract, they won a World Series because of him. So it's okay. Anyways,
Fair
give
enough,
me
yeah.
your big takeaway from the red hot National League East.
So my big takeaway right now is that I'm not too surprised, honestly, because right now the top three teams in the NL East are all teams we kind of expected to be in the playoff hunt. It's the Braves, the Phillies, and the Mets. What's cool is that they're all doing well. So it just means that the division hunt is going to get stronger and stronger and stronger as the season goes on. Do I think that they're all going to keep these winning streaks going for long? No, obviously not. It's really hard to sustain those. But I really like the idea of seeing that these are going to be three juggernauts at the top of not just the National League East, but at the top of the National League itself. And it's going to make those divisional games even more important because you're not only competing for, the pride of going against a rival team, you're competing to try and win this division even more so with the fact that all three of these teams are absolutely red hot. To give a kind of a little fun idea I took a notice of, right? You take a look at each of those three teams, right? Their last 10 games, right? The Braves are 7-3. The Mets are 8-2, and the Phillies are 8-2. You take a look at with the rest of Major League Baseball, no other team in Major League Baseball has won 8 of their last 10. No other teams besides the Phillies and the Mets. When it comes to the Braves, there's a couple of teams that have won 7, namely the Brewers and the Orioles and the Guardians. Oh, also my Mariners. Huh, would you look at that? But like overall right now, it's really amazing to see. Hey, I see that. I need to thank your Braves. Splash, by the way, for sweeping my the Astros. So, good job. Thank you. Appreciate it. We'll send you a gift card in the mail. But, it's fun to watch. I love watching when baseball gets competitive and gets strong like that. Whenever you have it's like watching a horse race, right? When you have a bunch of, it's like when you have 2 or 3 that are at the front and they're just vying for that position, right now, it is so entertaining to watch. And when you have right now the Braves, Phillies, and Mets all so close together while all being on these huge winning streaks, it really is going to come down to who's able to keep it going the longest.
Yeah, and so one big takeaway for me though is that while all 3 of these teams are playing well, it feels like none of them have really hit their stride. The Braves, yes, they have the highest scoring offense in baseball by runs per game, but Ronald Acuna Jr. has not broken out yet. Austin Riley has not been Austin Riley yet. Their pitching staff has been they're only 12th in the NL and ERA right now. And then the Phillies, Bryce Harper has been up and down. He's had a couple of long offers. Nick Castellanos has been like the worst player in baseball by wins above replacement. I believe he was the first player to eclipse -1 baseball reference WAR. He's a 27 OPS plus. He has one extra base hit this year. JT Realmuto only has 635 OPS. Bryson Stott only has a 577 OPS. It's like they're doing all that winning despite their offense just not quite meeting standards. But their pitching staff has been fantastic with Ranger Suarez and Spencer Turnbull and Zach Wheeler. They finally won a Zach Wheeler start. Aaron Nola's hitting his stride. Their bullpen's been kind of up and down. I'll say that much. And the Mets, I mean, they don't have Kodai Senga right now. They don't have David Peterson. They don't have JD Martinez yet. The offense, Starling Marte's been great, but Francisco Lindor started off really cold. Jeff McNeil hasn't exactly been Jeff McNeil this year. Brandon Nimmo has been streaky. DJ Stewart's heating up, and Tyrone Taylor's been good, but now Francisco Alvarez is hurt. They haven't exactly clicked yet either, but they've been playing very, very well lately after starting 0-5. So my thing is all 3 teams are playing great right now, but just wait till the summer hits because I think they're all going to get even better.
I just want to say real quick before I get too much further, leave it to the Mets fan to while talking good about the Braves, to absolutely shut down the Braves. I found that was honestly really funny.
I didn't think I completely shut them down, but it's
you
worth
did
noting.
Say their top. You said their top players are not playing well, and yet
they are.
Well.
I mean, look.
I know. I agree with you. I just think I found it funny.
Yes. Marcell Ozuna is playing great, obviously. I mean, he's tearing the cover off the ball. Mm-hmm. But, they don't have Sean Murphy yet even. Like, Murphy got hurt immediately. Acuna has not been MVP Acuna this year. Like, it's kind of hard to ignore. Well, Albies is supposed to come back this week, though. I'm pretty sure.
I didn't see that, but I hope so. Because
whenever his 15 days are up, I'm pretty sure he's supposed to get activated.
All right, I'll take your word for it there. But the current Braves lineup, if you include Albies, if he's back this week, the worst OPS plus of the group is a 111 from Austin Riley. That is the worst hitter on the team. Now, the problem is they can't pitch outside of Reynaldo Lopez, who is I don't know. Sometimes the reliever to starter works. Jordan Hicks was pretty solid yesterday. He walked the world, but didn't allow very many runs. Reynaldo Lopez has a 0.5 ERA through 3 starts. He has 3 quality starts, which is just crazy. Chris Sale, I think, has pitched really well. The 4.38 ERA doesn't exactly back that up, but his FIP is 3.4. Charlie Morton, his FIP is 3.8, which is fine. Max Fried has been largely pretty bad. I'm just gonna say it. He did get screwed the start against Philly. with the pitch that should have been a strike that should have ended the inning, but it didn't. And so he threw like 45 pitches or something. And then the next start, he allowed 6 runs in the first inning. So he's just been pretty atrocious, walking guys and whatnot. Darius Vines, sorry, sir, you are a Gwinnett pitcher. With all due respect, good, really good in Gwinnett, but like a quad A, I would say, type player. The bullpen, though, I love the bullpen. It's just been phenomenal this season, outside of Aaron Bummer, who's kind of gotten hit around a little bit. But he jumped over
Sounds
to
like
Philly.
sounds like he's been a real bummer so
Yeah,
far.
he's been the problem is he's been
That's
good. It's just he had a blow up start or blow up outing against Philly, and if you have a
Yeah,
blow up outing as a reliever, like you're chipping away your ERA for.
his
I listened to
volatility. Yeah,
I listened to 755 Forever. Eric O'Flaherty's on the show, and he'll say like if you allow 3 earned runs in a start or in an outing, you're chipping away your ERA for the rest of the month, and that sucks. But jumping over to Philly, just a good team, man. And like Max said, they haven't hit their stride yet. Bryce Harper had the 3 homer game. Outside of that, he's been not great.
he is one other homer.
Castellanos, yeah, Castellanos has been not good at baseball. Schwarber's
He
been
had a pretty
good.
good. He had a pretty good swing against Justin Lawrence.
Oh boy, Trey Turner's been good. The bullpen. It's a Phillies bullpen. With all due respect to Dave Dombrowski, who has done a better job than he did in Detroit. And then the Mets, like Max said, they don't have Senga yet. They're missing Francisco Alvarez. But they've played a gauntlet of a schedule. Now, I will say I've seen the post that a lot of it's bolstered by teams playing the White Sox. So like the Royals, for example.
Yeah,
Although we all think reasonably highly of the Royals, but it feels like every team the Mets have played has also played also played the White Sox, but that's weird schedule quirk. But anyways, I think we can safely say there will be 3 NL East teams in the playoffs. I think the Braves are the best team in baseball. I just sorry. The offense is unbelievable, and the pitching I trust to turn it around. Like Max Fried has a 7.7 ERA. He had the lowest ERA in the last 3 years. Like that, I'm sorry, that's just not sustainable for him to have a 7.7 ERA. Like that's just not going to happen. Yeah, Ronaldo Lopez isn't going to hold a 0.5 ERA, but he has a 2.2 FIP and a WHIP below 1, so it's not like he's going to be garbage or anything. So I'd still take the Braves, then Phillies, then Mets, but I could see definitely like a 1 seed for the Braves, a 4 seed for the Phillies, and I would not watch baseball ever again if that happened. By the way, and a 6 seed for 5 or 6 seed for the Mets. Now Phillies Mets series in the playoffs,
that get pretty
that would be
entertaining.
total carnage.
Oh yeah. I'll say I'm curious about Lopez because he struggled as a starter in Washington. He struggled as a starter in Chicago, but he's looked really good so far in Atlanta. I want to see how he plays out over a full season. Like, when is he going to tire out, or is he going to tire out? Because I mean, reliever to start, like you said, it doesn't always work. But his teammate Chris Sale went reliever to starter and became a perennial Cy Young contender. So
I
I
have
wouldn't be too
one word
shocked if
for
he
you,
sustains
Mac.
it. Yep.
LASIK.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Did he get?
when Lopez was a starter in Chicago, he didn't see particularly well. Then
Mm.
he gets LASIK while also moving to the bullpen. So you have like the double confounding factors here. So it's like, okay, he's going to be better in the bullpen because he has great stuff. I will say he's a bit of the uh, obviously Spencer Strider is one of the best pitchers in baseball. So it's weird to compare guys to him, but he's a bit of the Spencer Strider type that it's really only 2 pitches. He mixes in a changeup from time to time, but it's primarily fastball. Then you have the breaking ball. Um, it's, it's hard to be Spencer Strider, and it's hard to only have 2 really good pitches, but I will say they are 2 very good pitches. And I think Reynaldo Lopez can be a decent option deep into the season. And he is a guy that has been a starter before. This isn't like a AJ Puck, Jordan Hicks situation that they've never been a starter at the major league level. I think Lopez has learned from what he did as a starter with Chicago. He threw 180 innings. He's made 30 starts, so he has that in his bag, if you will. He knows the hurdles to overcome. Now he has to do it again, and he has to adjust to not throwing 100. but he can still pump 97, 98 as a starter. So I really like what I've seen from Lopez. I'm really like proud of that. That was just a great decision by the Braves, because guess what? If he doesn't work out in the bull, or doesn't work out as a starter, you can bring up the Bryce Elders of the world and make me not want to watch baseball anymore. But Lopez would be absolutely electric out of the bullpen. So, there's that. You know who else is electric? Anyone?
Sugar Diaz.
I mean,
Yeah.
yes.
He is the electric man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna raise you one guy that bangs his head with his bat when he hits home runs. That's Josh freaking
Oh, yeah.
Naylor, bro.
Josh Naylor. Yep.
That was the
is
funniest clip. I love it so much.
Josh Naylor is you guys remember the crack kid?
Yes, I know exactly. Yes,
Like the guy, the kid in the yellow shirt with the ball
Yeah.
that like he
Yeah.
like bounced the bat. Yes, Josh Naylor is that guy playing Major League Baseball. He's been unbelievable this season. 196
Yes.
OPS plus, OPS above 1,000, 623 slug. Guys, tell me about Josh Naylor and tell me about your MLB leading Cleveland Guardians.
God, this team is playing so well, and honestly, it's fun to watch. Like, again, you got guys like Naylor who are Josh Naylor, excuse me, that are just destroying the baseball. I mean, right now he's got what, 6 homers on the year, 20 RBI. He has an OPS of over 1,000 right now, and I love seeing it. The dude is killing it. Not to mention, J Ram still being J Ram, doing decently well. He's got a few homers under his belt. Not the best season right now for him overall. Still working on it right now. But they're really being carried by some amazing offensive performances. Stephen Kwan right now has an OPS plus of 151. Like, that's what people want to see from Stephen Kwan. He's not going to match the ball for 100 homers on the year, but he's already got a couple on the year. He's struck out 11 times, a 358 batting average. Let me say that one more time. A 358 batting average is amazing to see. And honestly, it's a lot of fun to watch the ball club. There's one problem on the team, really one problem. And that's the starting pitching has been kind of moody. Like, take a look at who they have right now. Of their top 4 starters, Logan Allen, Tyler Bibby, Carlos Carrasco, and Tristan McKenzie, the one with the lowest ERA is Cookie. Cookie Carrasco has an ERA at 3.44. The next closest to that of their top 4 starters is Tanner Bibby with 4.44. Very aesthetically pleasing to see. After that, everyone else is above 5. Like, because also with Shane Bieber now going down as well, which again sucks for Bieber and all that. Like, the starting pitching has been bad, but the relief pitching, oh boy, has been good. Emmanuel Clase as their closer right now, a .82 ERA with 6 saves. Very, very good. Tim Herron, a .79 ERA. Cade Smith, 3.27. Nick Sandlin, 1.69 ERA. And just to add a little bit more onto it, Hunter Gaddis is still a 0 ERA. Like, their bullpen and their offense is making up for the fact that the pitching isn't doing as well, and they're making it work. Like, right now, their pitching has been absolutely astounding right now. Like, to give you kind of an idea, right? We talk about ERA plus. That 100 is the average player right now, right? Like, that's something we all know at this point. They have currently in their bullpen 6 names. 6 that have it at above 100. Right now, the lowest being Ben Lively at 113. Actually, no, excuse me. The lowest is Cookie at oh no, sorry, that's in the bullpen. My apologies. 113 and then 119 for Cade Smith there. But the ones I want to bring up are Tim Herron and Emmanuel Clase. Do you want to guess where their ERA pluses are at right now? Like, their ERA pluses are above 400. Nearly 500. Clase is at 475, and Tim Herron's is at 489. They are doing the work of nearly 5 baseball players at this point. That is insane to watch. And honestly, I think their bullpen is the main reason why they're at where they're at right now. Like, don't get me wrong, the offense has been fun. Josh Naylor has been igniting baseballs. Stephen Kwan has been putting every ball into play. And then again, Estevan Florial is even playing decently well too with an OPS plus of 138. But Their bullpen has just been outstanding. Emmanuel Clase is really proving why he's one of the best in the business right now.
Yeah, Cleveland really. I mean, you're talking about the bullpen because the ERA, their starting pitcher ERA is 3.79, seventh in the league. But like you were saying, other than Shane Bieber, who's now hurt, out for the year and probably out for a part of next year, their starting rotation really hasn't been that good. Tanner Bybee slowly getting it together, dropping his ERA, and Tristan McKenzie is trying to pitch through a torn ligament in his elbow, so that's kind of it's probably holding him back. And honestly, I'm wondering why isn't just getting the surgery. But you know they're slowly getting there with the rotation, which I thought was going to be a big strength of theirs this year. Their bullpen ERA, though, of 2.11 is second in the majors, behind only their division rival, Tigers. So, yeah, their bullpen has surprised me, especially because Clase was coming off kind of a rocky season, and he's basically righted the ship so far this year. Their offense, it's great to see Stephen Kwan leading the league in average, finally getting back to where he was as a rookie in 2022. Low strikeout rate, making a lot of contact. Jose Ramirez hasn't even found his groove yet, but they're still the highest scoring offense in the American League. Also, I think it was awesome seeing Estevan Florial hit a couple of homers against his former team, the Yankees, because the Yankees never really gave him a shot. Granted, he was buried on the depth chart. He didn't really have anywhere to play. It's fun to watch these guys succeed. Like you were saying, Josh Naylor, I mean, he's tearing the cover off the ball. And shout out to their first year manager, Stephen Vogt. Uh, you know, it's not always easy, your first year on the job, and it's not like he was gifted a super team, an insane roster. But I think the Guardians. I was saying this before the year. I think they're better than people were giving them credit for. A lot of the people were giving them fourth place or finishing further down in the AL, not really competing for a playoff spot. But I think it's reasonable to expect the Guardians to win the Central. It's not a great division necessarily, but I think they were too good of a team to perform the same way they did last year.
Yeah, as always with Cleveland teams, I don't necessarily love the approach or love all the numbers under the hood, but so far they have played particularly well. Just looking at wins above average from Baseball Reference, they have the number 2 ranked group in the American League of position players, number 3 at first base, number 3 at second base, number 3 in center field, believe it or not. Without Miles Straw, Tyler Freeman has stepped in and has been a valuable piece there. Number 4 in left field, number 4 total in outfield, number 3 at DH, with Jose Ramirez, Esteban Florial taking some plate appearances there. And the relief corps has been third, although ironically enough, third in the AL Central too, because Detroit and Minnesota have good bullpens. I do kind of want to sell on Cleveland though. I think long-term success, I don't necessarily buy it. Now, I can't tell you if it's going to be Detroit or Minnesota, or it's definitely not going to be Chicago. I know that. I don't know which other team in the AL Central I would trust, I guess, to catch Cleveland and potentially pass Cleveland. Right now, Cleveland has a 3-game lead on the Royals, a 4-game lead on the Tigers, an 8-game lead on the Twins, but it's April 22nd. So there's a caveat there. The rotation is worrisome. The Bieber spot, whether that's been Bieber or Xavier Curry or Ben Lively, that's been great. They've allowed 2 earned runs the entire season. Great. The other 4 spots, as you guys have mentioned, not particularly great. 3 of the guys have been below average. Tristan McKenzie, my Cy Young pick, my original Cy Young pick last season. Just get the surgery, man. It sucks watching McKenzie with diminished stuff, with diminished velocity, and you're not helping anyone, right? I was listening to Effectively Wild yesterday, and they had a pitcher from the 60s and 70s, a teammate of Ron Santo, for example, who was on the 69 Cubs. He said that, pitchers wanted to pitch through injuries, even if it hurt the team. And I think we're at the point that if you're injured, you should tell someone. I think that should be a for the team, to the good of the team in this case. So I understand pitchers have a shelf life and you want to throw as many innings as possible, I would imagine, and you want to like have as long of a career as possible. Again, I would imagine, but I don't know. I don't think Tristan McKenzie is helping anyone out, but
Here's
I
the
don't think he's
thing.
helping anyone out right now.
Here's the thing when it comes down to like wanting to play through injuries and all that. Like a lot of players see it as like noble or brave that they want to stay out there to they want to try and frame it as they are trying to push through to give what they can for the team and all that. When in reality, a lot of the times it's a really risky and a really bad move. Because
Mhm.
on top of it, if you're injured and you're not playing 100% and there are people behind you that can be playing at that level, you're actively hurting your team even more, hurting your body even more by risking even further injury at that
Mhm.
point. And a lot of times it's things like that that coaches get fired over.
Mhm.
Because like there was one story I famously remember. Again, don't endorse the humans involved in all that, but Brett Favre, one of the things that he would do in football is he would constantly try to play through injury, try to play through other stuff here, and he did play well. And that's the reason why a lot of his coaches kept their jobs, he found out, because there's a lot of other experiences we've seen of players trying to fight through an injury and they end up losing the game and the coach gets fired for letting the player continue to do that. Like, it's a very risky thing to do. And honestly, most of the time, it's not worth it. Like, just
Mhm.
get your surgery time, be down for a bit, come back stronger, actually help your team. A lot of players have this pride to them that says that I am what is best for this team. I'm here for a reason. And they're right. They are. But when they're hurt, they are not who they are.
Mhm.
They are not at that level. And so you need to understand, and I'm not gonna try to talk like a player, right?
Mhm.
Like I'm not gonna try and make it work. But um at that same time, you've got to at least be able to look in the mirror and say, you know what, maybe there is someone that's better for me while I'm healing up. And you're gonna risk your body less, which will hopefully give you a longer shelf life as a player. If you actually get the surgery, don't continue to amplify something that's already wrong.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
my
I
thing is
do.
that, well, it's also that, McKenzie is pitching through a torn ligament in his elbow. And we've seen this before where, people are like, our players. I remember last year the Phillies tried doing this with Andrew Painter, who's in theory going to be in the Phillies rotation, but then, he found out that he had a tear. They're going to try to have him rehab, and then by June he had to undergo the surgery anyway. What if we get 2 3 months down the road, McKenzie still isn't quite there, and he has to get surgery in July as opposed to April. You're delaying
Mhm.
your recovery by 3 months, and then he's probably out most of next season. So it's a tough choice of, you're probably, if he does get the surgery, he's going to miss time anyway. He's going to miss a year or whatever. But do you want to miss, April, May, June of next year, or do you want to miss the entire season?
Yeah, it's an unfortunate situation. By the way, the player I was referencing on the 1969 Cubs was Rich Nye, now a veterinarian. So his career worked out for the better. Great, effectively wild podcast the other day. So I have my concerns with Cleveland. I don't think the starting pitching is sustainable. Um, I know they have this reputation of being a starting pitcher factory, with Bybee and Allen and McKenzie and Bieber, and I get it. And they have a history of trading these guys before they reach their peak value. Look at CC Sabathia and Cliff Lee as examples of that back in the day. But the bullpen, very good. They are going to win a lot of games because of the bullpen. They could have a sort of like a 2023 Marlins light, I would say, of maybe they'll win a bunch of one-run games. And I think they'll have a touch of an inflated record. I would take other teams in that division rest of season. Minnesota's just been a disaster health-wise. Their bullpen, Yohan Duran not back. Their lineup, Correa's hurt. Royce Lewis is hurt. So again, I don't know who I'm exactly picking in that division, but Cleveland has some warning signs to me that say like they have a better record than every team in baseball. But I would take quite a few other teams. The Dodgers. The other day, the Dodgers were the 17th best team in baseball by winning percentage. Obviously, I would take the Dodgers. I would take the Mets. I would take the Phillies. I would take the Braves. I would take Brewers. I would take quite a few teams over Cleveland right now. All due respect to a great record so far, great production from Naylor and Kwan, and the bullpen. Just I see some warning signs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely some interesting bits here that make me at least a good bit more worried about this team. But like, I think that as long as, because honestly, my personal opinion is that starting pitching is what's going to carry a lot of teams. If you have a good rotation, that gives you a solid foundation to build on from. But we've also seen from this team that you can get away with it if you have the other parts to compensate. But right now, I'm thinking that as I'm looking at this team, I need to see some consistency from the starting pitching. You can only rely on hot streaks from hitters and relievers being constantly shut down players only so much. I'm not going to say that either of them are really going to fall, but I do think that right now they need to if they can keep on pace, they'll be doing just fine. But this is also the AL Central, which right now we were raving about not too long ago, the Kansas City Royals playing really good baseball. The Twins are not amazing, but they're a decent team at this point. Now we're talking about 3 or so teams in this division that could at least compete for the top. So right now you have to find a way to keep going. And right now, if they're in this situation come, June, July, I could very easily see this team being on a buyer's course trying to get some starting pitching depth.
Yeah, Cleveland and buyers not really the
I
operative
will
term
say
here.
they will get Gavin Williams back at some point theoretically,
That's
and
nice,
he's
yeah.
supposed to be a big boost. So
Yeah. No, I'm not saying that as in like that's directly what's going. I was just making that as a prediction for going later. Yeah.
Sure. I will say they have played the A's 7 times already and the White Sox 3 times. So 10
Oh,
games,
that tracks.
that's
that must be
8-2.
nice.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Although the A's did just beat the Yankees though at Yankee Stadium this
that's a good
afternoon.
point. And
So
they took 2 out of 3 against the world beater Nationals. So for what that's worth. So
Hey, Mason Miller's throwing 100, 304 miles per hour. So you
so
know what?
good.
As
He
long
is
as you have
he's
so good.
legit.
Mason Miller's awesome.
I so Cleveland's upcoming schedule, they have Boston, they're off today, but they have Boston at Atlanta at Houston. Yeah. They just beat Boston 2 out of 3 last week. They had a Big 10-7 win. I don't know if you can. They need to take 2 out of 3 against Boston and then hold serve against Atlanta and Houston. If you could go even 4-5 in that stretch, then I think I'll feel a lot better about Cleveland. Because yeah, this is a team that just swept Oakland. The best team they played, the Yankees, they lost 2 out of 3, and their only win was on a walk-off. They took 2 out of 3 against Chicago, big whoop. They took 2 against Minnesota, again, big whoop this year, and they've taken 6 out of 7 against Oakland, big whoop. So I have my concerns, but they can resolve a lot of those concerns with this Boston, Atlanta, Houston. By the way, Boston, Andrew Bailey should run for mayor or something.
Dude,
Holy
he's going
crap,
crazy. Yeah.
he can manage his staff. He's a stud. So with that, speaking of the Houston Astros, they have a certain Cleveland coming to town soon. When a certain Braves team came to town last week, Houston folded like a lawn chair in the 9th inning. So, fellas, Houston has the worst record in the American League West. That is so bizarre to say. What's wrong with the Astros? Alex, I
It's
know you're
it,
gonna give me some smart comment, but what's
it
wrong with the
it's kind
Astros?
it's kind of straightforward. I think their pitching staff is just not doing it this year. I get it. They have a lot of injuries. No Framber Valdez, no Christian Javier now. Hunter Brown has just not been good. Justin Verlander's just coming back. Josh Hader has not been up to par at all. Actually, is an 8.3 ERA. You don't pay a man $19 million annually to have an ERA over 8. They have the worst ERA in the American League, but their offense, I mean, 118 WRC plus is second best in the AL and fourth best in all of baseball. But for some reason, they're only middle of the pack in runs scored. But Altuve and Tucker and Alvarez and Jeremy Pena have done their part. this team is just underperforming, but I think they're also too good to stay down this long. So I feel like the Astros are going to turn things around. Now, they're going to need a lot of help from their pitching staff because, like I said, nobody performing well. I mean, Verlander had a good first start, but I'm just kind of amazed right now. You keep thinking, all right, maybe they'll turn it around against the Nationals. They didn't turn it around against the Nationals. Maybe they'll at least win a game against the Braves, and they couldn't. They had 3 winnable games, it feels like, and they lost all 3. So, but they did take a series from the Rangers. So, I thought maybe that Rangers series was going to be this, the start of something, but it wasn't. So, yeah, the Astros, if they fix the pitching staff, they're going to contend. But the other thing is that the American League West as a whole hasn't really performed particularly well. So they're still don't go counting the Astros out. I'll just say that much.
Yeah, I mean, here's my take on it. I'm the AL West guy. Obviously, I'm not a fan of the Astros. You make good points though. Like the Astros right now, they are 7-16, which is one of the worst records in baseball. The fact that they're behind the Oakland Athletics is really funny. Or I should say at this point, the Oakland Mason Millers. But overall, right now, you're exactly right about Houston right now. It is their pitching that has been their downfall. When Ronel Blanco is your number 1 starter right
We
now,
will
which
respect Ronel
I'm
Blanco.
not talking bad on him. I'm not talking bad. I am saying though that I've never heard his name until this year. But anyway, like they do need they really need their pitching to actually come to play. Like they've had a lot of problems. They've been relying on guys like Hunter Brown and JP France way too much, I think. And when you don't have a starting rotation, it's the same thing we were just talking about here with the Guardians, right? When the starting rotation is bad, you can get by if everything else is starting to work. The other things aren't working. The bullpen is not doing great. Your best reliever right now is somehow, like by ERA, I mean, one of your best relievers right now is somehow Rafael Montero, which makes me, as a Mariner fan, just audibly feel sad. But
Same as a Mets fan,
yeah,
he was ours
exactly.
originally.
Yeah, and then watching Rafael Montero be horrible with Seattle, then go do good with Houston, still just makes me sad. But regardless, again, Josh Hader having an 8.38 ERA just is weird to me, right? Like he is an elite closer, an elite reliever. Like the fact that he's struggling right now, I don't think it's going to continue as much as it is. As much as the Seattle Mariner fan in me wants to say that they are going to lose out the rest of the season, that's not happening, and I'm going to say something that's probably going to hurt my soul, but that's okay. Uh, Baseball is a 162 game sport. It's not football where every single win and loss means makes a world of difference, right? Right now, we are currently, so the Astros have currently played 23 games out of a 162 game season. That I don't even know what the exact percentage is off the top of my head. I could get it if I got on my calculator here, but
Like
I'm not
one
gonna.
seventh.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Like there's so much ball to play. But it's the same thing we were talking about when it came to the Mariners earlier. When you thought the world was falling because no one could hit. The pitching was doing okay, but no one could hit. And now they start hitting and you're like, oh hey, now the team's gonna be amazing. And I mean, to be fair, they're half a game out of first place. But like that's the thing right now is that there's so much baseball left to play. Yes, the Astros have a winning percentage of 304, and I'm going to relish that for as long as I can. But right now, I don't see this team struggling too much more. Like their offense, when you have players like Kyle Tucker, Jordan Alvarez, Yenyer Diaz, who's playing good. I will not say the other person's name. Like they are playing good ball, and it's something that they can rely on here. Although I do want to say that Jose Abreu right now having a negative 32 OPS plus is really weird and funny to me. But right now, this team is very, very good. It's very worrisome how good they are. But it is going to come down to whether or not their pitching can get it figured out. When Justin Verlander comes back, you can expect him to be at least good. I'm not going to say he's going to be, prime Verlander, but he's going to be good because he's shown that he is basically able to win every match against Father Time so far. But after Verlander, now you've got guys like Ronald Blanco, JP France, Hunter Brown. Valdez is out for a while. We don't know how long. He's on the 15-day IL right now, but we don't know the direct how long he's going to be. So, I mean, the question with the Astros really does come down to, will the starting pitching figure it out? If they can, they will go back to being an amazing team. If they can't, I think this team might start folding pretty soon.
So I do have one little factoid. There is some context involved. This is from Brooks Skate on Twitter. Great follow, by the way. 103 teams in MLB history have started 7-16, including the Houston Astros now. Only one of them made the playoffs. And the caveat is that's the 1981 Royals, who only made it because their first 23 games did not matter at all, because that was the year they split the season. The Royals were garbage in the first half, awesome in the second half, won their AL West in the second half, so they made the playoffs. Unique rules. I will say most of these teams did not play in a 12-team playoff format, and most of these teams did not play in a weird American League West, although the Royals did, so fair enough to them.
There was no wild card even. No.
Yeah, in 1981 it was weird.
Yeah. It was strike shortened, so yeah.
That was the special season there, but yes, there was no wild card before 1995. So you only had 4 playoff teams for about 25 years in the LCS era, and then for decades upon decades, you only had the pennant winners go to the World Series. Always the pennant winner goes to the World Series. Just the best team in each league went to the playoffs, aka the World Series. So there is a caveat there that this isn't like a apples to oranges, or this isn't an apples to apples comparison. My thing with the Astros, this gives me 2023 Padres vibes, that they just suck in situational baseball. They can't hit with runners in scoring position. They're a very middling team. This is like the inverted 2023 Orioles. It's a really good offense, but can't hit a lick when they need to. 2020 Mets, another team there. And the pitching staff is the same thing, that Josh Hader is like garbage for some reason. I will say the FIP with both Hader and Ryan Presley is right. It makes sense. Like, it's a 2 and a 3. Oh, well, the ERAs are a touch inflated. Hader allowed like 4 straight singles to the Braves. Now, listen, it's the Braves, so they can do that against anyone. But I don't think every team's doing that to Josh Hader. So the Astros are going to be fine. I would imagine the rest of season the Astros have a better record than Cleveland, for example, and they're not out of the AL West by any means. But I have my concerns. The pitching is a concern. They did get Justin Verlander back, and I like Ronald Blanco. He's a bit of a changeup heavy guy, and those don't always work because you can just kind of sit soft sometimes. Like the Rangers saw him the second time and fared much better than they did the first time. So either way, shout out to Spencer Arrighetti, whose name is Spencer Arrighetti.
True. Very true.
That's a great name.
Why do I find an insane craving right now for pasta?
I don't know. He was called spaghetti like his minor league days.
I mean,
that
see
doesn't
that.
surprise me at all.
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely. So he's Italian as well, so that helps. All right, we have a little bit of a change of topic order for once. There's a special reason for it. So we're going to go to our moment to ourselves. Alex or Mac, I'm going to go last. So feel free to go.
Nope, I'll go first this time.
Sure. 3, 2, the number of real Astros World Series rings, 0.
Thank you for that. Anyway, I'm gonna talk a little bit about wrestling, because I love wrestling. I've been loving wrestling now for a while now. I'm like, I keep getting told, like, why do you like it? It's fake. Obviously, it is. Do you not like watching movies because they're fake? No, you enjoy them because it's the immersion of knowing that something is not fully real. Think about professional wrestling is just you're watching a movie that's happening in real time, and there are suplexes, and there are big moves. It is awesome. It is cool. Like, why would you not want to watch that? Like, if your entire argument is saying, oh, it's scripted, oh, it looks fake on that, so are movies. Like, you're not gonna go into Avengers Endgame and say, "Oh, I don't like the fights," because it's obviously there's no superheroes and all this. I'm like, obviously there isn't. Like, really, there isn't. And the cool little difference between that and wrestling as well, you're actually watching this happen in real time. Like a movie, you're watching it happen post. Wrestling, you're watching it happen right now. That's awesome, right? And also on top of it, there's storylines that are fun, especially now that we're in the Triple H era. Yay! So, legitimately, if you hate on it, give it a chance. Like, watch it, follow some of the storylines, see where it takes you. I also have recommendations for first matches to watch as well to get you into it.
I will say that's a pretty solid pitch for wrestling. I'd never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Wow.
like it's so funny. Like everyone tells me like it's fake. Like it's like I'm like, no, duh. Like we know it's scripted entertainment. We know that, but so are a lot of TV shows. So are movies. Like it's about entertainment and watching people put their absolute best out there in also a bit of a sports format even. So it looks like it's a sport that's scripted just like the NFL.
It feels like that every year the Steelers go 9-8.
It does. Doesn't it?
Sorry, Mac, but you
So,
know it's true.
Oh yeah.
So, Mac, your turn, sir.
All right. So wait, Splash, count me in.
Oh, yes. 3, the number of Mets World Series rings. 1, the number of Mariners World Series appearances.
Ouch.
not fun, not fair.
Sorry, Alex.
Anyway, I just wanted to take my moment to shout out Reed Garrett, the newfound gem in the Mets bullpen. First of all, one of my friends actually played against him in high school. Apparently, he's a really cool dude, and apparently, he was just as filthy back then. Didn't throw as hard, obviously, but he's a guy who was kind of a waiver wire dude. Got DFA'd a few times, played overseas for a little bit. He has been just amazing this year. He struck out over the half the batters he's faced. He actually leads all relievers in strikeouts. Granted, he's had a few multi-inning outings, but I mean, he struck out 6 in 2 innings. Earlier this week or last week, I guess now. He has an expected ERA of 1.29 to back up his 0.00 ERA. He did a lot of 200 runs the other day, but he got his first major league save on Saturday, striking out the side against the Dodgers. He gets a lot of whiffs, which is great. And I think that while I don't expect him to have a 0.00 ERA all year, he's a legit player. So if you're considering picking up Reed Garrett in fantasy and your league has holds as a category in addition to saves, highly consider picking him up because he's pretty good.
He's been cooking so far this season. So, fair play to the Mets. They also got Tonka Truck back, so that's always a good
And they
sight.
DFA'd him already.
Oh,
Third time he's
well,
been DFA'd in a month.
Wow.
poor guy. So can one of you guys count me down,
Yeah, here, I
please?
got you.
Oh boy.
I was like 3, 2, 1, begin.
So I don't usually script these out, but I was worried that I wouldn't be able to get through without tearing up. So I'm going to read this straight from my notes app. So Howie Schwab died Saturday morning. It was the first thing I saw when I checked my phone. I was equal parts heartbroken and reflective that such an influential part of my childhood and my ensuing adulthood was gone. The Schwab is one of 2 professional role models I've had in my life, alongside his colleague at ESPN, Stuart Scott. Stu is my inspiration for engaging storytelling and relatability. The Schwab was the inspiration for my relentless attitude when it comes to digesting sports stats, data, information, research, whatever it may be. Some the Schwab aired for the first time before I was even in elementary school. I can't remember how many times I watched reruns on ESPN Classic over my formative years, but leading off in the Schwab Showdown were my version of vocabulary words. It got me hooked on sports and sports trivia by the time I was 8. I'm good at sports trivia. I won a national championship for it in high school, and trivia is my favorite segment of the show every week. When I played leading off at broadcasting camp in high school, I felt like I was in my element after years and years of watching the Schwab. However, I couldn't hold a candle to what he knew. I've referred to a lot of people as the GOAT in my time on the podcast. However, Howie Schwab is the quintessential GOAT in my eyes. Thank you, rest in peace, and my thoughts and prayers go out to the Schwab family and the ESPN family. You are why I love what I do to this day.
I got you, man. Like, yeah, that was something that really hit a lot of people. I didn't grow up with it, but hearing how many people have and how many people like, I remember going out to, you know, like sports bars with friends, and they would be talking about it. They would be talking about it, and it was always something that just always got brought up in passing. And I love the fact that that's something that people can bond over. And I'll say this to you right now, like you are one of the biggest sports like baseball encyclopedias that I've ever met. And the fact that, you know, that's how you got your start with it and that's why you wanted to do it, immense respect.
So, with that said, we're going to go into a special Schwab inspired trivia segment, beginning with leading off. And today's category is players who have hit 50 home runs in a season. So, Mac, I will let you go first. So, just back and forth. Name a player who has hit 50 home runs. If you repeat, it's over.
Active or
doesn't matter.
all right.
50 home runs in a season. So, there's 31 available answers.
All right,
so
Pete Alonso.
Pete Alonso is correct. Repeat ends the game.
Mhm.
This is like the de facto tiebreaker. You get to go first in the next round. So just Alex, your turn.
All right, Arsa Judge.
Aaron Judge is correct. Mac.
Matt Olson. Most
Matt
recent guy to do
Olson
it.
is correct. Yes. Alex.
And you said this was all time, right?
Yes,
Like
all
not...
time.
All right, Roger Maris.
Roger Maris. Roger Maris Jr.'s dad is correct.
Ryan Howard.
Ryan Howard is correct.
All right, Barry Bonds.
Barry Bonds is correct.
Fun fact, he only did it once. Just
Jeez.
happened to hit 73. Prince Fielder.
Prince Fielder is correct.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Mark McGuire.
Mark McGuire is correct.
I'll go with Sammy Sosa then.
Sammy Sosa is correct.
Rafael Palmeiro.
Rafael Palmeiro is incorrect.
Nope.
Mac, you win, and you
Let's go.
take the choice here. You may either go first, receive the kickoff, or you may choose offense or defense.
I will receive the kickoff.
All right, Alex, offense or defense?
Offense.
All right, Mac, you will begin with the offensive player. That your first clue. This man is a active position player in Major League Baseball. So this is a segment called Who Am I? You get more points the earlier you answer the question. So if you were able to ascertain who the player was through he is an active Major League position player, you would get full credit. So you can also pass. So you can either guess the player, and if you guess incorrectly, you're out for the rest of that player. If you get it, or you can pass back to Alex, and Alex gets a easier clue. So I would imagine you'd pass.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to. You can guess a position player, or you can pass.
I'm going to pass.
Okay. Alex, this player debuted on August 5th, 2014. You can guess the player or pass.
Can we only do one guess a player? Like,
yes.
Okay, then no, yeah, pass.
Okay. Mac, this player has played in both the American League and National League.
I'm going to pass on this.
Okay. Alex, this player has led Major League Baseball twice in led his league in a major stat twice. This would be like black text on Baseball Reference. He has 2 black texts on Baseball Reference.
So, okay, I just want to clarify something here. This is only active players, correct?
Yes, active players.
Okay, so active player is a position player, has led in multiple. You said multiple?
Yes. Yeah, 2 different categories, once each. So it would be black text on Baseball Reference.
Okay. And is played for the American League and National League.
Correct.
All right, I'm gonna pass.
Okay. Mac, this player once finished top 5 in MVP voting.
Oh my God. I'm gonna have to pass here.
All right, Alex. This player has both a Gold Glove and a Silver Slugger.
I have an idea of who it is, but I'm not confident in it. So I'm gonna pass.
Okay, Mac. Uh, this man's brother-in-law is a pitcher in the American League.
Oh, I know it.
All right,
Buzz.
Buzz.
Brandon Crawford.
Sir, that is incorrect.
Oh, what?
He's never played in the American League, has he?
Oh my god, I'm an idiot. Oh my no.
All right.
I have a okay.
All right, Alex, I can give you another clue, or
Please
you
do,
can
yes.
guess. Okay, another clue. He is currently on a currently on a deal with an American League team.
Okay. And I only get like I have to make a guess on this one, right?
No, you can pass again, and I'll give you another clue if you
Okay.
wish.
I mean, to be fair, I could just keep going, but
Yeah, I'll. There's two more clues I can give you.
okay. I'm gonna pass one more time just because I have like I said, I have an idea of who it is, but
Sure.
I want a little more to it.
He was the National League Championship Series most valuable player in the year his team won a World Series.
Oh, okay, so it's definitely not who I thought then. Because I'll tell you right now, the player I thought it was Altuve. Um, but
Yeah, that's a good point. He did play for the American League and National League. I didn't think about it, but yeah.
yeah. I thought that's what you were gonna try to stop us on. Was that? Let's see. One a national. Oh, oh, oh! I ding ding. I think I have a guess.
Oh boy, here
Anthony
it is.
Rendon.
That is incorrect, sir.
Dang.
Final clue. His nickname is El Mago.
Oh, come
Oh,
on, man.
dang it. Okay, Javi Baez. Come
Javier
on.
Baez. Also, the brother-in-law is Jose Barrios. I learned that
Yeah,
today.
I realized.
I did not know that. Okay.
All right, so we are going to go to the pitching side of things. So,
Mhm.
Alex, you need to win this before the final clue. Mac, if you get this at all, congratulations, you win. So, Alex, you will go first.
Okay.
This is a pitcher who has played for two different major league teams.
All right, pass.
Okay. Mac, this player debuted on April 30th, 2012.
I'm going to pass.
Okay. Alex, this man was an Angels draft pick.
Pass.
All right, Mac. In terms of black text, this man has a lot of them, but he once led the majors in one. He led his league in one stat 3 consecutive seasons.
Pass. Wow, I thought I had an idea, and now I'm completely thrown off.
All right, Alex. This man received Cy Young votes in back-to-back seasons for two different teams.
Pass.
All right, Mac. For his career, he has an ERA plus below 100.
I think I know the answer
Yeah, I think I have one too, but go for
because
it.
I know this guy was drafted by the Angels and traded for Dan Herron, if I'm not mistaken.
That's the player.
Patrick Corbin.
Patrick Corbin is correct.
Let's
He
go.
led the National League in losses in
Losses,
21,
yes.
22, and 23.
Wow,
Angels draft
that's
pick.
impressive.
Debuted against the Marlins in 2012. Got the W for the Diamondbacks. 6 seasons with Arizona, 6 seasons with Washington. A 5th in Cy Young with Arizona, 11th for Washington. ERA plus of 95.
I remember I was at like his second big league start at Citi Field, like that. So I know that he debuted early, but I remember he was drafted by the Angels, and I believe it was like him, Tyler Skaggs, like a couple other players sent to Arizona for Dan Herron.
All right. Congratulations, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Mac wins the trivia. He took leading off to grab the lead. And then who am I? Yes, sir. He got Patrick Corbin. Let me know if you guys want me to run back similar segments
fun.
to that. But yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, shout out to Something Schwab. You know, when I was in my U Stadium days, I pitched a show called Squash the Splash. The CEO of U Stadium was not on the trivia wagon like I am. So regretfully, that did not end up happening. But Anyways, so
Darn.
Squash the
That sounds
Splash
like
is on
fun.
the back burner. Also, I was thinking while I was working in the cooler, like a Mac Attack would be a fun trivia show.
Oh, for sure.
Like
True.
if it was like Alex as a host, and then we got like some rando off Twitter to come on, and it would be like Face You would be the Mac Attack, and me would be Squash the Splash. I think that would be pretty fun.
And then me just trying my best.
Well, no, you're the trivia. No, you're the
No,
trivia host.
no,
You're
I
the
know, I know. I'm just having some fun with it. No, yeah, no,
yeah.
you're good.
And then
You, yeah,
what rhymes with Alex?
I don't know.
Alex
Malik,
Smith.
yeah, Malik Smith,
Mal
yeah.
yeah. Okay, we got Malik's Alex. Okay.
No,
Clark in the park or something.
Clark in the
I
park
like
is
that.
actually
I
pretty
Like
like
good.
Clark in the
that.
park.
That's actually pretty good.
That's gonna be the name of Alex's live streams when he does like MLB The Show or MLB Power
That
Play.
actually sounds amazing.
I
I
actually like
love
that a
that.
lot.
I may have to start using that
I like
actually.
that a lot. Okay, so we do have some good ideas on this podcast. Anyways, with that said, unless you guys have anything to add, we can wrap it up.
I think we're good. Go Mariners. They're doing good.
All right. With that said, thank you guys for watching, listening to the podcast. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify or wherever you enjoy our glorious, glorious words. You can find the podcast at LAR Baseball at LAR_baseball, sorry, on Twitter, Instagram. You can follow me at Mr. Splashman19. You can follow Alex at the Sports Guy 242. You can follow Mac at Mathias_A_K on the Bird app. We will hope to see you all real soon, and go Braves.